Toyota had to grapple today with the fallout from a frightening drama on a California highway. The federal government dispatched investigators after a Prius raced headlong on a San Diego interstate, more than 90 miles per hour. And tonight we're able to hear the driver's dramatic call for help. David Muir has it all, and he is here. David.
Diane, as you know, the California Highway Patrol released the 911 call just a few moments ago, and what you are about to hear is a driver who is only able to get out a few words at a time as police say he struggles to control his car at over 90 miles an hour. It all comes as that car in question was hauled away today.
Today, that 2008 Prius was towed to the dealership after that ride yesterday that the driver said lasted 30 minutes on a California interstate.
Hello, this is 911. Do you have an emergency? My car just left out.
61-year-old Jim Sykes driving outside San Diego. As he began to pass another car, he says his car began accelerating on its own. He said the pedal was stuck all the way down, reaching speeds up to 94 miles per hour.
I'm trying to control a car.
He calls 911. Dispatchers can be heard scrambling to get help to him.
He's moving.
61 Chef, are you trying to do everything you can?
Officer Todd Niebert gets the call.
I saw him. I could smell the brakes. I saw his brake lights coming on.
The accelerator is stuck, but still at full acceleration.
The California Highway Patrol today said the officer pulled up beside the Prius, but as both cars approached a couple of big rigs ahead of them, the officer moved behind the Prius. They passed the trucks at high speeds. The officer then moves up on the driver's side of the Prius and uses a loudspeaker to shout directions.
When I started telling him things of, to put the vehicle in neutral or try that, or to brake, I could tell he was physically trying to brake.
I was standing on the pedals. I was standing on the brake pedal, looking out the window at him. And they said, push the emergency brake too, and I laid on both of them.
With both brakes employed, the driver says the car finally starts to slow down, and Sykes repeatedly pushes the ignition button to shut down the car. The car does eventually come to a stop, rolling into the patrol car in front of him. Today, the California Highway Patrol said it was definitely not the floor mat. So was it the actual gas pedal itself? Today, Toyota said it's too early to say. The pedal on that Prius was not part of Toyota's recall.
Tonight we have confirmed that 2 federal investigators have been sent to California. Toyota tells us they've sent their own specialist. We did ask Toyota today, is the company considering another recall? Because this model Prius did not have one on its gas pedals. We were told there are no plans for the recall right now. It's too soon. But if it's not the mat, as police said again today, and the pedal hasn't been recalled, Diane, the big question is, what is it? And that's what everyone's asking tonight.
Mystery continues, and the image of him standing on that.
Standing for much of the ride.
Toyota, the company going on the offensive, strongly contesting the validity of tests by a professor who claims faulty electronics might cause Toyotas to accelerate out of control. The company going all out, hiring independent engineers to make its case. And David Muir has the latest on this.
And Robin, as you know, just within hours of Toyota setting up this elaborate demonstration to discount the notion that electronics could be causing these cases of sudden acceleration, California police were out chasing an out-of-control Toyota Prius on an interstate. And this morning, we hear from the driver and from the police officer, now credited with helping to save that driver from a different outcome.
The dramatic moments unfolded over Highway Patrol radio.
He's moving. The accelerator is stuck.
Officers scrambling to stop Jim Sykes' 2008 Toyota Prius as it accelerated to over 90 miles an hour on a California interstate just outside San Diego.
I'm thinking of just putting a patrol car in front of him and trying to stop him.
The officer pulled alongside the speeding car, giving instructions over his PA.
When I was getting up to the car, when I saw him, I could smell the brakes. I saw his brake lights coming on.
I was standing on the pedals. I was standing on the brake pedal, looking out the window at him. And they said, push the emergency brake too, and I laid on both of them.
The driver says he even tried to see if the pedal was stuck on the floor mat.
My mat was perfect. There was nothing wrong with my mat. And the pedal, it wouldn't do anything. I pushed the button to shut it off. It didn't shut off, so I did it a couple more times. It did shut down.
Finally slowing down, he says he eventually came to a stop, rolling right into the patrol car in front of him.
The driver's a little shocked right now.
I won't drive that car again, period.
The sudden acceleration came on the same day Toyota took a professor to task for demonstrating sudden acceleration on a Toyota during an interview with ABC's Brian Ross. Professor Dave Gilbert of Southern Illinois University showed Ross how he could manipulate the Toyota car to suddenly accelerate, and then pointed out that afterward there was no error message recorded on a system that is supposed to detect errors and shut the throttle down. But Toyota said Gilbert's scenario could not have happened in the real world, and Toyota's engineers showed that they too could get similar results Gilbert found on several cars of different makes and different models. They say Gilbert's experiment proved nothing.
We have found no sign that electronics have anything to do with unintended acceleration.
In fact, Toyota says it continues to investigate complaints. They'll now add this case to the list, saying a Toyota specialist has been dispatched to investigate. The federal government has also sent in investigators, and police this morning say it was definitely not the floor mat. Robin, he had one hand on the steering wheel, the other hand on the floor, trying to make sure the floor mat wasn't stuck under the pedal.
And he said there were reports that he had a recall notice, and he went to the dealer, and they said, no, you're not covered.
Yeah, a lot of confusion. This was an 08 Prius. The gas pedals were not recalled. The floor mat was. But in this case, Robin, police say it was definitely not the mat.
All right, David, thanks so much.
Now about Toyota. The company has added its fashionable Prius hybrid to the list of vehicles with safety issues. And this time it's the brakes, a problem Toyota knew about months ago. And tonight, a whistleblower has come forward to ABC telling Brian Ross this is not the first time Toyota hid problems from customers, Brian?
That's right, Diane. Once again, Toyota has been caught failing to disclose to its customers and the government all it knows about its car's defects.
Toyota's veil of corporate secrecy may be about to crack.
I would describe it as a culture of hypocrisy and deception.
Dmitry Biller is a former Toyota lawyer who handled product liability lawsuits. He is now coming forward to say officials in Japan repeatedly ordered cover-ups of safety issues.
They were hiding evidence, concealing evidence, destroying evidence.
Biller and Toyota are now involved in their own lawsuit, with the company claiming he is violating his severance agreement by making unfounded allegations.
Would Toyota lie to the federal government?
In my view, absolutely.
Biller says the public needs to know what he saw at Toyota, citing the case of an unfavorable internal engineering report involving deadly car rollovers.
They, quote, buried it, close quote, and they created a new engineering report that was favorable to their interests and their position.
Safety advocates also claim Toyota has used its corporate clout to limit investigations of its runaway cars by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, NHTSA. Former government investigator Chris Santucci was recruited by Toyota while he worked at NHTSA.
Did receive a job offer from Toyota Motor North America.
He testified that 6 months after being hired, he met with his former NHTSA colleagues to get them to exclude the most serious high-speed accidents from the government's investigation of electronic throttle issues.
I think it worked out well for both the agency and Toyota.
Under the agreement with Toyota in 2004, NHTSA said any incident lasting more than a second or two was not within the scope of this investigation, meaning 25 of the 30 most serious accidents were never investigated by NHTSA.
They essentially eviscerated the investigation. It is no longer an investigation into the types of problems that people were experiencing.
And after 4 months, NHTSA closed the investigation without finding any problems. A NHTSA spokesman confirmed tonight the investigation was limited to only short-duration speed surges. What a former NHTSA director, Joan Claybrook, says is an outrage that undercuts the integrity of the safety agency and its findings. For its part, Diane, Toyota declined to comment on our story tonight.
All right, thanks, Brian.